forthcoming book called One Morning, which has an M dash after, and this is the title poem. One morning, I woke up, baked him a bannock. The Germans had arrived, bright and early in their fascism, to point out a spot on the table, a spot of water spot on the veneer. A German, bright, almost glowing, too bright to look at directly. One must look to the left and the right of him. A capitalized proper noun. A German steps from behind the tree. And there's a bunch of poems in the book that are ekphrastic, although they're my dour version of ekphrastic, which usually involves making fun of looking at things. So, this is echo-ekphrastic. And the ekphrastic mode, for those who do not know, just means making art out of an experience of looking at art. I stood in front of it, Ellen Frankenthaler, for a very long time. That was not the extent, though there's plenty novelty in the activity for me. Est-elle homme ou femme? The big questions, inquiry, 3D glasses help, has to gain dimensionality somehow. And he would not shut up or step aside to allow a clear view finder. It makes me feel like reading. It cleared that space for reading, not the placard. I cannot be left alone in the encounter with the valued object. Thank you again, New York City, for your cultural institutions. They are the only redeeming ekphrasitic, Salvatore Del Deo, big, blue, and becalmed, taking as your subject folly, the subject of boats, ships, lights, and light. Make it too real, and I won't see it. Look at the paint, look at the paint, look at the paint. It's dark blue, it's bright blue. And another poem on the very same subject called Use Objects, Boise Art Museum 2009. I just want to touch everything hanging from the walls and the ceiling. I've never felt this way before. Ruth Duckworth, is she truly still living? The card says so. What do I want to look at a bunch of quilts hanging on the wall for? I'm almost done with this guileless pose. Exhaust oneself in several poses. Currently standing and looking my ass off at doll quilts, 1863, in a glass box. Everything darker, just the general tenor of life darker. The fabrics, candlelight, eyes shut at sundown. Sunshine and shadow pattern made with tiny stitches, a whole lot of sense. Unbelievable that human intelligence, now so dulled, could have flamed so bright as to stitch this square with a lady's fan, a velvet boot, tilted teacup. And then I went to see Bright Star and wept more in the dark for that recaptured affect, peering at poems by candlelight when night was dark. That poem, that movie, Bright Star, I should have mentioned, it's a movie about the poet John Keats, and it takes place, it's beautifully filmed with all natural lighting. another one really. There's a TV show called Antiques Roadshow. I'm familiar with that. But it was one of my favorites back when I used to watch television. Antiques Roadshow, nouns to verbs. Drama, 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 drama. The things find their way into pop entertainment. Can it truly be that a higher culture, grandma's Navajo blanket rape pillage, your weeping $30,000, Angel Moroni risen a real relic? Word reaches back to early Victorians. Those young Americans are morons. It's a hodgepodge, hodgepodge, hodgepodge. Now I have to go memorabilia devo. And this poem is called Abs, which refers to abs. But it also refers to Ulrika Meinhof from the Red Army faction, who I was introduced to after watching a documentary about the Red Army faction as an American. Abs. Ulrika Meinhof, 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 maddening, 20 reps in descending order of auditory processing disorder, of steel, of magical thinking. If I blow up that state house, it is a block away from my house. It's all about her. She's just like me. And then, so those are from a book called One Morning, and then I have a little chapbook coming out in the fall from Ugly Duckling Press that's called Warden, and these are poems of desperate, obsessive love, and these two next poems are from that, or actually there's a third even, I'll read. What happened? The pun of what happened and what happened. Let me try that again. The pun of what happened and what happened. I was going to make something out of it. You and I, we never get a chance to get our stories straight. If something bad happens, it was bad that it happened. And there's the spot I drooled on the floor, mouth open to the floor finally. I loved him, he loved me. Symphonic chamber we first made love in, I drive by frequently, consider the wisdom of doing myself in. We never get a chance to do anything more than once. Doing myself in there, verily compose the note I left. Here is where my life began, here is where I'll end it. I'm giving him too much power over me, don't you think? But oh, I should not have invited him to haunt me. But oh, I invited him to haunt me. I will supply, survive, maintain enduring, endless, welcome visitation. I do today forever. My fair beauty recalls him. My mirror image recalls him. Sinewed thighs, barren ribcage recall him. Eyes inside my eyes. And then this is for my students who I've been talking about words you cannot use in poems, and this poem is all about using those words. It's called Moon June. It's really bad. Words rhyming with words worth mocking. Cruelty, desire, hot cognate with cold. Bright moving darkness of his face over me, bluish whites. Why wouldn't I want to give up everything For I never, cover me in a way I never, what if you said, I never get what I want? And the moon answered, really came down over you, fucked you with a moonbeam. Heart, soul, love, those kinds of words, in triplicate, converge over one, over two, cast doubt in shadow until cast in doubt. Darkness of lightness, of feeling so sure, in blindness certain, of shadow, the rightness of wrong doing. I think you would too. And this poem is called Windowless Structure. It's not part of that series. And it has a little epigraph. Wrongly convicted in 1990 of rape and assault, Yusuf Salam spent 5.5 years in jail before being exonerated. 10 filed fingernails, imagination inviolate, 7 windowed structure pointed at the sky, 7-fingered hand, the corner holds it. I was placed in this cell and allowed to grow spiritually. Do you only work in extremes? Large and small, 10 and 1,000. And then I'm reading this poem purely because it has this potential joke at the end that is apparently relevant to Lithuanians. You will laugh at the end if you're a Lithuanian and it is relevant. We'll see. It's called Gigantism. They cross you and uncross you, unnumberable, and you grow larger, infinite grandeur, hauteur. Draw yourself up to your full height and more. You disobey me, and I outgrow you. I overgrow. Now, I'm not suggesting an ideology, and God was pleased to see that Noah had stocked the ark with hedgehogs. Total silence, except for the Americans who know that I thought this was maybe going to be funny. Okay. All right. So, and now I'm going to read a poem that has beautifully been translated hopefully into Lithuanian after me. So this poem is called Applies to Apple, and it's well, I wrote it after visiting a friend on a farm. Applies to apple. Onion in her cynicism. Peel away another layer of apple. The weakest link rolls down the hill, far from the tree away, and bruised and rotten amongst the bunch. Applies to human, applies to endeavor, the ruminant, remainder goats, fed on fallen, apples make flesh, make apple milk, apple goat meat in apple goat milk, aged and resplendent with spores and cultivars, age-old endeavor of humans on a weekend, humans visiting other humans with their animals, seeding the human web. I've been in it so long. Press of bodies to draw away and press on other areas of apples, of need, of desire, to move away from the city famously and even farther away.
Pinka obuoliai. Svogūnas jos cinizme nulauš dar vieną sluoksnį nuo obuolio. Silpniausia grindis rieda nuo kalno, toli nuo medžio tolyn ir sumuštas ir supuvęs krūvoje tinka žmogui, tinka pastangai atrajojančios likusios ožkos, šeriamos kritusių obuolių kūnų, obuolinis pienas, obuolių ožkų mėsa, obuolių ožkupienė, brandi ir švytinti, sporomis ir veislėmis, sena pastanga, žmonių savaitgalį, žmonių lankančių kitus žmonės su jų gyvūnais, sėti žmonių tinklą. Aš buvau jame taip ilgai. Kūnų spaudimas, atkelti ir spausti kitas sritis, obuolių, poreikio, troškimo, nutolti, puikiai nuo miesto ir net tolyn.
And then I'm going to read, I think, I don't know, 2 more poems. The next one is another that will be read in Lithuanian. And it goes, it's called Austerity Rabbit Cage. Austerity is not the place for rabbits. They desire and will find fuzzy bits, chew willow till it splits, seek empathy. What is the word for head that sees only on one side? It's called a victim. Sidereal eye view, monocular, hide empathy till it splits. It happens a rabbit will never go home. They make of your home a rabbit zone, a box for living, an empathy box. Rabbits, when I sit with you, I'm on the inside. Rabbits help me see the other side. That is a plea.
Taupimas triušių narvas. Griežtas taupimas ne vieta. Triušiams jie keičia ir suras pūkuotus gabaliukus, kramtys gluosnį, kol jis suskils. Ieškos empatijos, kas yra galvos matančios tik vieną pusę pavadinimas. Ji vadinama auka. Žvaigždinis akių žvilgsnis, vienakinis, slemo. Iš tavo namų jie padaro triušių zoną, dėžę gyvenimui, empatijos dėžę. Triušiai, kai aš sėdžiu su tavimi, esu viduje. Triušiai padeda man matyti kitą pusę, tai maldavimas.
And so then, yeah, just 2 more of these, and then I'm done. This poem I wrote yesterday, so I just thought I would read it. And it's called The Big Pick is a Total Art Shot. High-def selfie in the sunstroke glass that conveniently frames and reflects. Making art, I'm so live I'm a fucking sylph. Then on the floor, not a moment later, child's pose. Right, another abject tableau of lineation. And jam those long limbs, a cave for a dark little self to make dark little faces. Oh no, I'm learning from my students. This pose, oh no, I'm done with mastery. That leaves big me sadly free of all immunity. But how? Butter is a food group in the dark country. Bread, too sour to believe. It's rye, it's unbelievable. Antidepressants, a food, a group. Here in the dark lands, a cave. But how can you? Everything disorganizes once you leave mastery behind. It's not a mystery, it's mastery. Or is that when? Is that time or space? You're on the floor, you're in the window, you're just like everybody else. But how can you make it without self-congratulation? I'm just literally going to follow this river to find my way back to the center. There is literally a gas truck in my path, excruciatingly, slowly backing up. Repeat, repeat, you're just like everybody else. Repeat, repeat, you're just like everybody else. Fuck that snowflake in its ballerina asshole, it will melt. This poem is called In the... How How strange the road at 5 a.m. exactly wakes up Computrix, were it to venture successful manumission. Half seen and trill and ululation, down dark dawn in the quickened register, a hill I know full well in my imagination, simpers to the bay, drown, plain dissolve, shatters against black remaindered sheet, scuttling pixels making for the hills, rattling sand and ever-clearing throat, unpathway through a mind and heart in occidental counterpart, shut off the clamshell, edgy tricks, infotainment tricks, plain sight lurks sooner still, and comes and breaks the musing heart upon a rock, the breathing heart upon the margin, and leaves its single-celled metonymy, a one-note lung, deciduous in tree, clucking for the morning to arrive, knocking its heart up its throat against the bark of morn, an arc, make it stranger still.